Hi everybody, I thought we'd have a chat about cosmetics. Seems to be quite a popular topic in dentistry at the moment. Lots and lots of people telling me that it's really complicated. Well, I'm going to have to tell you it really isn't, compared to most of the stuff we do. If there's something you don't like about your teeth and you know what it is you don't like about your teeth, the process of making them look the way you want to is really fairly trivial. It might be something as simple as some composite bonding to cover up a blemish. We can change the length and the shape of your teeth. It's just very straightforward stuff, and it's low impact. With the composite bonding, it just sticks onto the surface of the enamel, and if you don't like it, we can shave it off again. Generally, they don't last very long because people will insist on drinking tea and coffee and red wine and things. So the surface of the composite material generally isn't that smooth if you look at it under a microscope, and they will stain with time. So if you are going to have composite bonding here or anywhere else, please don't think it's going to be permanent, because it really isn't. Sometimes colleagues move on to porcelain veneers, which are more impervious and don't pick up the stain as well, but they do tend to fall off. They became necessary, or very popular, back in the 1980s, when to crown a tooth was a fairly brutal process and we had to take an awful lot of tooth away. Now we don't. Technology's moved on. The crown wall thickness now, which used to be about 1.6, 1.7 millimeters, is now 0.4 of a millimeter. So if you can imagine how little we take away from a tooth nowadays, it's a very healthy process with a very strong and long-lasting result. There are various protocols we can use, but guesswork isn't one of them. So generally we use a procedure where we have a CAD/CAM computerized mock-up of how we think the teeth will look afterwards, which you then approve. And then we go ahead and do the preparation for the teeth, do all the 3D scanning to make sure that we have the most accurate scan we can get for the manufacturing process. And then we place temporary crowns that are exactly the same shape and size as we think the eventual crown should be. Then you get to walk around for a couple of weeks, 3, 4, it doesn't really matter. One of the main things people overlook is the risk that the palatal surface of the crowns will make you lisp. And in many cases it does in the short term, but that will go away normally after 3 or 4 days. If it doesn't, then we have to go back, look at the scans we've got of your teeth before we started, and make sure we conform to what was there before. If we've already just guessed and made the crowns anyway, then you're stuck with that lisp, and that's not great. So you then wear the prototypes, you decide whether it sits properly along your lip line, because that's not always the same. You make sure you're happy with the lengths and shapes and sizes, and then you give us the green light. We tell the technicians, they make the crowns, we fit them. We have very few problems. It's a very predictable workflow. Cosmetics, it's part of dentistry. It's not complicated. If you want an opinion, pop down and we'll tell you.